very different. So now let's dive into the fact that you are the 2018 World Champion of Public Speaking. As a Toastmaster, I know what that means. And it includes writing a speech and making sure that you can practice the speech. For you, what was the process like for you? Writing that speech, practicing the speech, and getting it ready to be the world champion.
For those of us in Toastmasters, we know that there's an international speech contest every single year, and every single year there's a new world champion. In 2018, that was, of course, before the pandemic, and things have changed a lot since then. But you have to have a separate speech for the actual World Championship of Public Speaking. The first speech that I did from the club level to the semifinals level was called Not Good Enough. That's on YouTube. I don't know if you watched it already, but that's the speech that got me all the way to the final stage. But when you get to the final stage, it has to be a separate speech. I thought I had a speech ready. I had written a speech when I knew that I was going to be a district competitor. I wrote a new speech, but I wrote it in my living room. I wrote it from my perspective. I wrote it thinking I was going to have a good message for this audience that I was unfamiliar with. However, at the semifinals in Chicago in 2018, I started to get to know the audience, and I kind of took the temperature of the audience, and I said, the speech that I wrote in my living room by myself without the audience in mind is not going to land. And that was Thursday. And I had to deliver a new speech on Saturday. I decided to take a speech that I had given a couple years before that, and I just kind of refurbished it and switched some things around. I got some insight from my fellow Toastmasters, and then we had Still Standing. I was freaking out though. I was panicking because it's Thursday and I have a day and a half to prepare. But one of my good friends and a fellow Toastmaster who was in my club at the time, Heidi Caperton, she's an amazing writer and amazing editor. She told me, relax. Don't think about the speech Thursday night. Go to your hotel, take a nap. Okay. Okay. And so I went to sleep and I woke up Friday morning and I said, we're going to do boxing.